All right, we're getting into graphing now, and this is the Cartesian Coordinate System, CCS. And so this is where all of our graphing takes place. It's going to be on a graph that looks like this. Usually there's little tick marks or whatever that just for counting, but there is some terminology that you need to know. So this vertical line here, we call that the y-axis. So this top part are all where the y's are positive, and this part below here is where the y's are negative. B here refers to this point right there, and that is the origin. O-R-I-G-I-N. So that is the center. Okay, so it's very much like the center. Apparently, it's harder to do that. Okay. C is this horizontal line, and we call that the x-axis. Now D is right here. That is some sort of coordinate. It's some sort of instruction. For a point. Instruction for a point. So there's going to be points on this graph, and we need some sort of instructions. And E here is part of that. E is the instructions. So this is the actual dot, the coordinate, and this is called the ordered pair. So I guess this is, I can erase this here. I know you just wrote it. So this technically is the point, whereas this is more of the instructions. The instructions for X and the instructions for Y, for how to get to that point. Okay, so the whole system is called the Cartesian Coordinate System. It's in the top here, C-A-R-T-E. Sometimes I forget. Coordinate System. So it was invented a long time ago, and it's always with this X and Y axis and some sort of coordinate ordered pair, some sort of point, and we do graphing. And these lines, it shows dotted here, but these axes here divide it into 4 quadrants. So they're not dotted lines. They're these solid lines with the arrows. So there's 4 quadrants, and we label them. I'll try it here. 1, which is Roman numeral 1, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4. Those are the 4 quadrants. Okay, so getting into practicing these things, every point here has an X instruction, comma, and then some sort of Y instruction. And it's good here before we get started to just write down on this graph just a little note here that this is the Y axis and this is the X axis. Also, it's worth noting that every one of these little grid marks is worth 1 unless it's indicated somewhere else. But we can, just for the heck of it, write it down. So this first one there, I have to write a little bit to the side, is 1, and then this is 2, and 3, see, 4. As you go to the right here, they're positive numbers. And as you go up, it's also positive. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's positive in the Y direction here, heading up. So if we head down, it should be negative. So negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5. That's going to be really important for these instructions that we have. And just like over here, these were positive as we head to the right. We need to go negative if we go to the left. So negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, and negative 5. And then we can plot these points. We just go to the spot. So there will be some sort of instruction saying, hey, go this way, go this far in the x direction, and then go this far in the y direction. So let's start here. It says go 0 in the x and -3 in the y. And you always start at the origin. So I'm starting here. And normally I have to move somewhere to the x, which is left or right, but it's telling me to go 0. So I'm not going to go anywhere. So I'm starting here, and I'm not going to draw the dot. I'm just doing that so you can see where I'm starting. So I need to go 0 left or right, and then I need to go -3 in the y. So 1, 2, 3. So this is my first dot, which maybe I will do in a green color here. So that's me starting here, going 0 in the x direction, and then going down 3. So let's just do a bunch of these and you'll see how this works. The next one here is go 0 in the x direction. Let's erase this. Go 0 in the x direction and -1 in the y direction. So let's go over. So I start here. Again, I'm not drawing the dot just for you to see. So I go 0 I go 0 left or right and then -1 in the y direction. So that is my dot. Now let's try one that's not a 0 so we can actually see how this works. So the next one here is go -3 in the x direction and -2 in the y direction. So those are the instructions. So -3 and then -2. So I start here in the middle. I go -3 in the x direction, and then I need to go -2 in the y direction, which is down. So down 2. And so that is my point. I moved 3 in the x direction, -3, so I moved it left by 3, and then I moved it down by 2. Okay. So, and you should start thinking of left and right and up and down. So this the x here, for the x, this is going to be our left or our right, because that's horizontal. And then our y is going to be up or down. Now, if it's positive, you go up. And if it's negative, you go down. And maybe here, I'll write it just to keep the pattern. I probably should have written right and then left. Sorry about that. Because right is a positive and left would be a negative. So now that you look at this, in the x direction, it's a negative number, which means we're going to be going left. So we're going to go left 2, and then this is the y direction, and it's negative, so we're going to be going down, down 1. So left 2, down 1. So let's try that. Left 2 and down 1. So you start in the middle and go left 2 and down 1. So I've got these 4 points, and it says it wants me to connect the dots, but maybe I'll do that after. So let's keep going here, and we can take a look and see just left, right, up, down. So I need you just to keep in mind that everything on this side here, those are your lefts and rights. And then everything on the other sides are your ups and downs. Again, if it's positive, it goes up. If it's negative, it goes down. So this right here is going to be left 4 and then up or down, nothing. So I'm just going to go left 4, up or down, nothing. So I'll just stay left 4. Okay, the next one is going to be, because it's negative, it's left. So left 2, up 1. So you start from the middle here, go left 2, up 1. And that's where we go. And keep going here. Left 2, and then, left 3, up 2. So left 3, up 2. And then finally, left 1, up 1. So left 1, up 1. Okay, so we needed to do this. I just don't know if I want what color I want to use to try to connect these. Actually, maybe I just won't bother connecting them right now. You can connect them, and then at the end, I will do it. Okay. Let's look at the third row here. Left 2, up 4. So left 2, up 4. Okay. And then we can take a look at the next one. Left 1, up 3. So left 1 and up 3. Left 1, 1, 2, 3. And then left or right, nothing, but then go up 5. So right here, we're not going to go left or right at all. We're just going to go up 2, 3, 4. We'll go all the way up to 5. Okay. And is that the... No, now we get to go right. So right 1, 3 up. So right 1, 1, 2, 3 up. Okay, that's the end of the third row. Now we can keep going. Okay. So now we're going to go right. The first one is left to right. It's positive. So right 2 and up 4. So right 2, up 4. Okay. And now we get to go right 1, up 1. Right 1, up 1. And let's keep going here. Again, these are all positives. Positives mean right and up. So the first one is going to be right 3, and then we're going to have an up by 2. So right 3, up by 2. And lastly, we're going to go right 2 and up 1. So right 2, up 1. Okay, and now we can do our last row. So this one here, right by 4 and then up nothing. So we'll go right 4 and up nothing, so we'll stay there. You should be really good at knowing what's left and what's right, what's up and what's down just by looking at it. So again, it's a positive 2, so that's going to be right by 2. And then this is a negative 1, so we're going to go down 1. So right 2 and down 1. 1, 2, down 1. And then right 3, but down 2. Right 3, down 2. Okay, I think we have one more here. Yep. Right nothing, down 1. So this is left or right nothing, but then down 1. I'm not going to go left or right and down 1. But I already have that point. That's exactly where I end. That's where I was near where I started. So I've already done that point. So now all I have to do is connect these dots, which looks very symmetrical, but they have to be connected in the same order. Let's see here if I can get maybe a highlighter or something. So I started here, 0, -3, all the way up to 0, -1. And then I went down to -3, 2, and then up to there. And then here, -4, 0, -2, 1. -3, 2, -1, 1. And then up, here, here, here. It would have been easier to connect these at the same time, but I didn't know how, even like now, this looks like trash as I'm doing this. Maybe I'll redo it after. This is 1, 1, and then 3, 2, and then 2, 1. Then that. So it should look, what it's supposed to look like is a Canadian kind of maple leaf flag. So I'm going to go through and try to do this a little bit nicer, and then we can move on to the next stuff. Okay, so it should look like that. It should look, I got rid of that trashy highlighter, just used a red pen, so it should look like this maple leaf. Something like this. Make sure that it does connect in the proper way, so definitely check your answer there. And it goes in order through all of these things, so also keep that in mind. But the next video we'll do a little bit more of this.